Hey gang, Mr. Osborne here. I'm just digging the fact that we can do a class online. I'm sitting here in my sweats with the long sleeve t-shirt on and a fire in the fireplace, my coffee by my side. It's raining outside. It's just awesome that we can still have class like this. So this week is kind of a down week. So I thought I would put a little video up as an extra credit thing. Um, so you want to be a firefighter. Do you have what it takes? Well, first of all, I don't think I have to convince all of you how awesome this job is. But let me just say a few things here about being a firefighter. You know, not only do firefighters make a decent wage, it depends on where you are in the United States. In some parts of the U.S., firefighters are not making a really good wage, and almost all of them have to have a second job on their days off. But here in California, most of the fire departments, they make a very decent wage. So that's great. You're not going to be, buying a mansion in Beverly Hills, but you'll be able to buy a home, send your kids to college, and have, a comfortable life for the most part. The time. When you're at work, yeah, it's a lot of time at work. Don't think that firefighters don't work long hours. They work very long hours, a minimum of 56 hours a week. But some of those hours are sleeping hours. So it depends on, again, which fire station you're in. But it's pretty cool that you go to work, you get to work out at work, you get to eat at work, and you're on the clock all of this time. You get to sleep at work, and you're making money all of that time. A 24-hour shift is what most firefighters do. Now, in some cities like FDNY, where they are so busy that they never get to sleep. Most of those huge departments that are just crazy busy, they've switched. They're not 24-hour anymore. But most fire departments are. You're a hero. That's pretty cool, right? When you drive by, the kids wave at you, and they use all their fingers, not just one, like when they see the fire department. I mean, the police department. they wave at us with all their whole hand, all their fingers. So yeah, we're a hero. We're popular. When you walk in the door, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here." It's pretty awesome to be a hero. Gosh, there's so many things. You get to be a part of a second family. My firefighter buddies are very special to me. And you have a whole set of friends that is like a whole second family. So, and a retirement, a pension. Most fire departments still have pension plans. And it's pretty cool when you get older and you retire. Well, you get a check every month, put in your bank account for not going to work. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So many benefits. Good health care. Um, I I could go on and on and on about how awesome it is. But let me also tell you, it is a challenge. It is physically hard. It is emotionally hard. And it is mentally hard. So you got to ask yourself, do you have what it takes? Are you going to be able to do this job? So we're going to talk about that in this video. This should be a short one. I've already spent 4 minutes introducing it though, so sorry about that. Let's get going on this. Well, what's the number one question that you're going to be asked in an oral interview? Well, it's usually many different ways of asking the same thing. Why should we hire you? What makes you a great candidate for whatever fire department? Tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself is even an opportunity to answer this question. Why should we hire you? What makes you a good candidate? Well, my answer has always been who I am, what I've done, and what I've learned. Who I am has to do with my character, my competence, and my courage, and we'll talk about that in a second. What I've done is my job experience, my resume is going to reflect what I've done and what I've learned. What's my education? What kind of degrees do I have? What kind of certificates and things of that nature? So let's talk about character first. Anybody who's been in one of my classes knows that I emphasize character a lot. When you're a firefighter, you have access to people in their most vulnerable moments. Sometimes they're unconscious. Sometimes they are desperate. So can you be trusted to be the person that takes a wallet out of the back pocket of a man who's passed out? Can you be trusted to be in the back of an ambulance with someone of the opposite sex who's basically totally undressed, because sometimes we have to strip people to check for injuries and things of that nature? Can you be trusted with people's personal information? These are all things that have to do with character. So when I think of character, I'm reminded of Major Dick Winters. Well, I just read a book about Dick Winters, and I've read the book Band of Brothers, and then I read another one, Conversations with Major Dick Winters from Band of Brothers. There's also another book that Dick Winters and this other gentleman, Colonel Kingseed, wrote together called Beyond Band of Brothers. And I've read most of these books. So Dick Winters from the TV series Band of Brothers has made a big impact on me as someone who was courageous, who was competent at his job, and had excellent character. So I got these 3 C's from Major Winters. And he was asked to speak at West Point to the cadets about what does it take to excel not only in life, but to make yourself a top cadet, and for us as people who want to be firefighters, a top candidate to be a firefighter. Well, first of all, his big saying was at the bottom of the picture there, you can see Dick Winters. This is D-Day +2, I believe, or 3. He had that saying, hang tough. He used to tell his guys all the time, hang tough, let's hang tough. We're going to do our job. We are not going to back up. We are not going to retreat. So that was his big saying. But when he talked to the cadets at West Point, he said, what it takes to be successful, to be an excellent soldier or an excellent firefighter is character, competence, and courage. So let's talk about those 3. First of all, character. Character has to do with your life choices. Everybody has character, right? You might look at somebody and go, that guy's a shady character, right? Everybody has a life rhythm and a life direction. And so where does character come from? Well, of course, some of it's our DNA. DNA has a little bit to do with the choices that we'll make in our lives. But I don't like to put too much emphasis on DNA. Some people do, but I don't. I like to see us as a culmination of our DNA, our choices, and the things that happen to us and how we react to them. So choices that are repeated become habits. Habits that are repeated and indulged in become lifestyle. So all of this shapes your character. And one person said, character is who you are when no one is looking. It's your real person. When you're alone, are you the kind of person that when you have free time that spends hours and hours and hours playing video games? Are you the kind of person that overindulges on any kind of addiction, pornography on the internet, drugs, alcohol, whatever? All of these things have to do with your character. Over 50%, I've even heard as high as 70% of candidates these days are failing their background investigation. And this has to do with your character. They will find out. They're going to ask you for your social media passwords. They're going to find out who your friends are. They're going to call your friends. They're going to call your previous employers, and they're going to investigate who you are, what you've done. So what are the things that fail candidates? Well, a lot of them, it's DUIs. Any kind of drugs, alcohol, any kind of addiction, and sexual addiction as well, of any form. Bad credit, that one comes up a lot. And I had a friend who, the straw that broke the camel's back for him was he had over 100-mile-per-hour speeding ticket. They saw that along with a couple other little minor things that they would have let go, but when they saw that 105-mile-per-hour speeding ticket, they dropped him. He ended up failing his background. So these are real situations, real life disappointments. I tell you, you get all the way through the process and get to the point of background and then get failed. It's extremely discouraging. So watch your character. Let's talk a little more about it. You will be asked how you feel about working and living with people that are different than you. Different genders, different lifestyles, races, and sexual orientation. Are you tolerant? Can you get along? Are you a cranky old man? I worked with some cranky old geezers, and it was hard to get along with some people. But you've got to figure out how to get along and not to be that person that nobody wants to work with, too. I mean, you're going to be asked about honesty. As I said before, can you be trusted to take an unconscious person's wallet and handle that appropriately? I can't tell you how many times I've been in a situation where that bad choice could have been made, and I made the right choices, and I hope you would too. If you talk about being service oriented, and when they ask you about character, well, why do you want this job? I love to serve. I've always loved to serve. Well, you better be able to back that up with facts. How are you service oriented? What have you done to serve your community? Will be the next question if you say you're service oriented. What is your work ethic? Well, that has to do with competence. So Major Winter said character and competence. Do you do your job well? I wasn't a real good student when I was younger. I got good enough grades to stay on the water polo and swim team and to be able to play sports. I really didn't care past that. Then I got in college and started growing up and realizing, hey, if I don't work hard, I'm not going to get paid. And daddy's not going to be around forever to, take care of my bills. So I better get my act together. And I started getting better grades. And I kind of changed my attitude. And my dad had always said, any job, big or small, do it right or not at all. Are you the kind of person that pursues excellence? Major Winters was. He worked hard. He studied hard. It was important that he knew how to read a map, that he knew how to call in bombs in the right place. All of these things mattered. They were life and death for him. Well, as a firefighter, it's life or death too. You make a wrong choice in the way that you pump, the guys at the end of the line could die. So, are you in pursuit of excellence? Are you the kind of person that always does the minimum, C's get degrees? Or do you apply yourself pursuing to be the best to which you are capable? You know, I make my classes pretty easy, and I give all the information to be able to get an A. And still, some people will get 17 out of 30 right on a test that I gave them study guide questions. All that says to me is you don't care enough to try. Effort, effort, effort. It's huge. One of my heroes is Coach John Wooden. He says that success is peace of mind that is the direct result of doing your best to be the best of which you are capable of becoming. Now, a lot of people, a lot of kids will say to their parents, well, I tried my best. And that's a bunch of bull. What is your best? I remember my brother was swimming in the nationals in college. My brother was a 4-year All-American. And he had this one event. And when he was done, he popped out of the water like he hadn't even been in a race. And he said afterwards, I could have won that race. I just didn't give it my 100%. If you give 100% in a race, you should be that person that falls down at the end. That's your best. Give it your all. That's all Coach Wooden asked. I would love you to watch the video by Coach Wooden. Maybe I'll attach it to this module. It's really good about effort and giving your best. Have you ever seen his pyramid of success? You should look at that. It's really good, really worth your time. So as a firefighter, courage is also important. Character, competence, courage. So your courage will be tested. And I want to just challenge you right now. How have you done in the everyday challenges of life? Maybe you haven't had life-threatening incidences, but we've all had hardship. How have you overcome hardship? Are you the kind of person that says, woe is me? Or do you say, what now? I think the best way to handle stress is to talk to other people, to maybe you're faith-based. I'm a faith-based person. To take your stresses to prayer or meditation or whatever works for you. How do you overcome hardship? I always say you got to turn your why me into a what now and to move forward. Let tomorrow go. Let yesterday go and move forward towards tomorrow. Don't let yesterday's problems keep you from today's successes. So move forward. Have courage. As a firefighter, oops, I think I got a duplicate slide there. Sorry. So that is character, competence, courage. Now I want to ask you, do you have a plan? The answer to both, what you have done and what you have learned, is answered by your work experience and your education. So a plan starts with a vision. What do you want to accomplish? So a vision is accomplished by setting goals or objectives. What steps will get me to my vision? Goals are met by having a set of action plans or steps to reach a goal. So your vision is, your vision is be a firefighter paramedic. Maybe you just want to be a firefighter. Maybe you want to be a wildland fighter. Whatever. That's your vision. That's your dream. And don't hesitate to dream big, right? One time I asked this question, what's your long-term goal? One of my students said, to be chief of a fire department. I went, great. That's great to dream big. Okay? But what are you going to do to get yourself there? It's going to take hard work, right? So you need to set goals. Goals might be 5-year goals, 1-year goals, 6-month goals, right? So you can have many different measurements of your goals, but you should have some education goals. Like, for instance, these are examples: get my EMT certificate, get my AA in fire technology, graduate from a fire academy, get my bachelor's, get a long list of state fire marshal certifications. Well, what are your work experience goals? You know, it's great that you're making good money at that bar, serving as a bartender, or at a restaurant as a waiter. Okay, that's fine. Or maybe you work at Costco. Those are all great jobs to get you, to get some money in the pocket. But are those jobs helping you towards your career vision? I think you need to start looking for jobs that will contribute to your resume and look good. And I'll talk about some of those in a second. So some work experience goals: get a summer job on a wildland crew, get a job as an EMT ambulance driver, or working in a hospital in the ER. Get a cadet position with the fire department. These are legitimate work experience goals that are stepping stones or rungs in the ladder towards your vision. Now, before I get into this plan A, plan B, can I go back and say, with your goals, then you set action plans. So this semester, I'm going to take this class, this class, this class. In this class, I want to get an A, and I also want to get a state fire marshal. So let's say you're going to take a hazmat class. I want to get an A in this class, and I also want to come out with my first responder operational certificate. Okay, that's an action plan towards a goal. Okay, let's get back to plan A, plan B. So plan A, maybe your plan A, my ultimate goal is to work for LA County Fire Department, because why would you want to work for anybody else? They're the best. Well, okay, there's a lot of great fire departments out there. I just use it because I used to work for LA County Fire Department. But it's pretty awesome fire department to work for because it's so diverse. You can work on a boat at the marina. You can work on a helicopter crew. You can be a wildland foreman. You can drive a fire engine, a truck. You can be on the USAR crew, the only international USAR team in California, right? They go all around the world as a USAR team. So, I mean, yeah, there's some enormous opportunities with LA County Fire, but a hard department to get on. So maybe your just goal is work for any major fire department, or maybe you're willing to settle for a job with CAL FIRE, U.S. Forest Service. Okay, I'm not knocking on CAL FIRE, U.S. Forest Service, but they pay a lot less, and not always where you want to get stuck as a career, unless in CAL FIRE you work yourself into the officer positions where they make better money. I have a friend that is a chief for the U.S. Forest Service. He makes less money than my son-in-law, who is currently, he promoted from paramedic to fire inspector with LA City Fire Department. He makes more money than a chief with the U.S. Forest Service. Okay, so I'm not knocking U.S. Forest Service. It is a great organization. It's a great career. You get great experience, but it's not where you want to end up in the long run. So what about plan B? Okay, I like to have in my plan B things that work towards plan A. But if you got stuck there for the rest of your life, it would be okay. So my top one on the list there, EMT paramedic, well, that is a really good career, or not a career. That's a really good job that helps you towards plan A, but it's not a good career. Paramedics on a good day make $25 an hour. That's the most you'll ever see. Most of them are making $17, $18 an hour. EMTs, minimum wage. But if that's a stepping stone to be a nurse, a physician's assistant, a PA, or a nurse practitioner, now that's a career. And that's a career that has a lot of potential in the future. Nurse practitioners and PAs make really good money, and with our current medical health situation, a lot of hospitals like Kaiser are starting to use more and more PAs and nurse practitioners. Um, okay, summer wildland fire crew, not a career, but a good job that will help you in Plan A, unless you work your way into the very higher ranks. How about working in a trade? Any of the trades gives you good hands-on work experience that helps you towards getting a career in the fire service, but is a good job. Problem with working in the trades is it's economy dependent. If the economy goes down, the trades go down. Military experience. Again, some people choose to make military a life career, but most don't. But it's really good in helping you get to Plan A. How about dispatcher? Good in helping you get to Plan A, so-so as a life career, unless you work your way up into the upper ranks. Same with lifeguard. LA County Fire Department or LA County Beaches lifeguards are part of LA County Fire Department. So that's a stepping stone, definitely, for getting on with the fire service. Fire prevention can be a great career. Ventura County, all of their inspectors are civilian fire prevention inspectors. Great job, great career, with great opportunities for advancement. Environmental health, hazmat of any kind is a good career. Utility companies, they all are good towards helping you in your Plan B, towards your Plan A. So the key is to use your time and efforts wisely in a way that it all works toward your ultimate vision. Are you thinking about why you do what you do? Or are you just getting through every day? Every job you pursue or have should have a purpose that helps you towards your goal. Because let's face it, 25,000 people applied for LA County Fire Department or something like that. And not all of them are going to get that job. So you better be the cream of the crop. You better be the person that they look at and go, this person's ideal. Consider, though, the jobs that are best with Plan B are the ones that build towards your vision, but also where there's an opportunity to succeed in that career and be content if you are not able to get on with the fire service. The last job I was offered, I didn't take it because at the same time I got offered a job with the fire department, was with Southern California Gas. And that would have been a great job. I could have stayed there for the rest of my life, worked my way into management, and have had a good career. But hey, I got on with the fire department. I was very fortunate. So a couple of slides here to close it out. The keys to success in life and career is be a good person and have a good plan. How are you going to get through this? Well, number one, work hard. Put all your effort into pursuing your vision. I love this quote by Louis Zamperini, who was an Olympic runner and also is famous. He was featured in the movie Unbroken and the book. If you haven't read the book or watched the movie, everybody should. It's a powerful, powerful story of a man who endured hardship beyond imagination. And he said, people say all anyone needs is a positive attitude. Yep, most of you are millennials, and you got a trophy for participation. And I even do this a little bit in my classes. If you give a good effort, I give you a kudo and give you some bonus points, some bonus prizes, I like to say. Well, that's all great, but it's not really going to get you the job. It's nice to have a positive attitude, but a positive attitude has nothing to do with winning, with success. What matters is what you do to your body and to your mind and to your vision and your goal. Self-esteem can't win you a race if you're not in shape. If you haven't done the work, you won't get the reward. Very simple. Someone once said to me, anything worth having will cost you. Are you willing to pay the price? One last slide. Great man Martin Luther King. One of my favorite sayings from Dr. King. If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets like Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. You know, we don't have street sweepers anymore. They're driven by trucks. But when he said this, pretty much the lowest jobs on the planet were to be a janitor or to sweep the streets. They literally had people who would take brooms and would go out and sweep the sidewalks, sweep the streets to keep them clean. It was the lowest paying and considered to be the lowest echelon or the lowest strata of human being is a job of being a street sweeper. And Dr. King so wisely said, any job, big or small, do it right or not at all. Even if you're a street sweeper, do it well. Because if you do your job well, then somebody's going to say, hey, you're doing so great at that, come and do this other job. And you will work your way up. I'm going to close with the story. When I left being a minister, I wanted to be a youth pastor for the rest of my life, but then I got in there and it was really hard. And there were a lot of life changes that happened in my life. It's a long story, but I just decided to change the direction of my life, started pursuing the fire department, got a job at Sports Chalet, and I hadn't been there a month. But I had an attitude of, I'm going to do my best at this job. I've got to succeed. I've got a baby coming. My wife was pregnant. I have got a baby coming. I got to take care of them. They are dependent on me. So every day, if I crushed boxes, you know, we had a big box compactor. I did it as fast and as hard as I could. If I stocked, I did it as fast and hard as I could. From the minute I clocked in to the minute I clocked out, I gave 100%. At the end of the month, they made me an assistant manager of a department. Within 4 or 5 months, I was the manager of one of the departments. Before the end of the year, I was an assistant manager of the whole store. Why? Because I gave 100% in everything that I did. So, what about you? Are you giving 100% in this class? Some of you are already behind because you're not participating. Are you watching the videos like I say to do? Because that's where you're really going to learn. Are you participating in every project and giving it your best? Or are you doing a token effort? If you are a C's get degrees person, you don't deserve the job of a firefighter. Yeah, you might be able to get it because there's a lot of luck involved, but you don't deserve it. Work hard. Give it your best. Keep your character clean. Be a good person. Be the kind of person that when you walk in the door as a firefighter, people look at you and go, thank heaven you're here. And after the whole event, they say, thank you. You just saved the day. Be a hero before you can become a firefighter. Okay, that's it. Take a moment, and I think I've got a little assignment associated to this. Put a little time in, and I'll give you 10 extra credit points just for watching this and doing the little extra credit. Okay? Thanks. See you. Bye.